Good evening, YouTube. What is going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well, staying corona safe, and having a good season so far. At least really good getting into some summer type weather, at least up here in Connecticut. We're finally getting some consistently warm weather. So that's always good. As you can see in front of you, we have a couple drinks. I've already started mine there on the left. I'm gonna get this volume down so I don't mess everybody up. And it's a double dry hop juice bomb from Sloop Brewing, and they are in New York. They do some really good stuff. I'm relatively new to that brewery, and I've only had a few beers of theirs, and I've liked everything I've had so far. So great job by Sloop Brewing. And tried and true session ale over there. Thanks, Titan. We've been buying and building. Well, really, this is our fourth. Well, this is the start of our fifth season. No, 2020 is our fourth season. So, kind of 6 years in the making, if you will, and we've just been slamming on some of the odds. What's going on, Mark? Especially the incomplete stuff, all the Kodam stuff. I just been hitting the numbers and hitting the peak animals that we're trying to hit. So we've been really blessed with all the clutches so far. Been very female heavy too this season, so that's always good. So a lot to choose from. But again, my bane is recessive projects. Tri-Stripe is starting off, and we're hoping we're going to correct it this coming week. But eight try to het try, and you don't hit anything. It better not be another clown project. That's all I can say.
Well, you got a slew of recessive stuff that's getting ready to come up the line.
Yeah,
so.
the next 3 weeks ought to be pretty insane here, with a bunch of different stuff. So Matt has a clutch that he's going to be cutting Thursday of next week, and I'll let him talk to you about that. I as well going to cut a clutch that day, and it's an albino het try to a yellow belly het try. So we'll see if we can get some visuals out of that. And then the clutch after that, which will be the following Tuesday, is the mini clutch. So mini is the Pastel Inchy Leopard Ivory. And I really think she's het pied, but she is technically a 66, and she was paired to a Pastel Inchy Leopard Yellow Belly het pied proven. So, the max out of that, I mean, it's just mind numbing. Super Pastel, Super Inchy, Super Leopard, Ivory pieds, or any combination thereof. So,
some true craziness there.
Yeah, that clutch ought to be pretty crazy. And then we have Super Pastel Het Desert Ghost to a Firefly Leopard Het Desert Ghost. So fingers crossed that she proves out. I don't know. There's several other stuff that's coming. It's been a bit of a lull as far as pulling eggs, but we have always been really, really late in our season. All these clutches so far this year are all new girls that are going, and our old timers had just started to hit. So
right.
And that started with the Ivory het pied that was paired to the Leopard GHI. Again, he's technically a 66, but I've got clutches on the ground. We'll take a look at some of those today. There's markers in there. There's tracks in there. So I know he's going to prove. So that clutch will be pretty crazy too. So GHI, Leopard, Yellow Belly pieds. So who knows what that'll look like. Yeah, there's just some cool stuff that's going to be coming over the next 3 weeks or so.
Yeah. And my clutch that we'll be cutting next week, it's our reduced jigsaw to an OD Fire. So some more OD Fire pin type stuff.
Yeah, so similar like I did we proved out the super pin this year. Well, not 100%, but she was a first year girl. 7 eggs, every single one of them was a pinstripe, and she was paired to an OD Fire. I wanted to kind of keep it simple. Made some
ridiculous looking animals.
Show you the one that I kept. or I actually kept 2.
So yeah, we'll be able to hit similar stuff, but with Mojave added in, so it can really.
So this is one of the holdbacks I had from that Super Pin to OD Fire. This is a girl. This is an Orange Dream pinstripe, and the orange is just crazy. And so as this girl develops, and the Orange Dream gets better and better, she's just gonna look nuts. Not that she doesn't already.
Welcome 808. Welcome Joseph. Welcome Ridiculous Reptiles. Welcome Gomez. Welcome Donnie. Welcome Dave.
And then the other girl that I'm holding on to from that clutch
Woo!
is that Smoke Show, and that is the OD Fire pin. And 808 has her sister, which is the exact same animal. And again, they just keep getting better and better with every shed and every meal. They're just insane. So that was a cool clutch earlier in the season where we were able to at least produce 7 pinstripes out of 7 eggs. And this coming year, we'll put something else to her and see if we can't get 7 more pinstripes or however many we get, a whole clutch of them. If that be the case, then as far as I'm concerned, she'd be proven super pin.
Yeah, so next week we can essentially hit that plus Mojave. So an OD Fire jigsaw.
Yeah, so.
Which could be pretty cool.
Yeah, it'll look really neat. And then that's that belly.
Yeah, color goes all the way around. You just get a little thin white stripe down the center.
Yeah.
Looks really cool. Some eggs that we're actually waiting to drop right now is Jim has a Super Pastel Yellow Belly Het Clown that went to a Super Pastel Lesser Yellow Belly Het Clown. So she was supposed to drop yesterday, according to her
14th.
her prelay shed. So she's a day late, 2 days late.
2 days late.
So we have that, and then we have another girl that was supposed to drop today. Hasn't dropped yet, but that's our.
And they're both first years.
Yep.
What we found with a lot of our first years is they're not right on the clock.
They're late.
Most of them are a few days. They've been anywhere from 2 to 3 to 5 days late.
Right.
But nothing really too much more than that.
Yeah.
At least yet. So.
And that one is a Pastel Spider Lesser Enchi Malum Bald 66% Het Pied to a Pastel Leopard Enchi Yellow Belly Het Pied. So some more craziness that we're looking forward to later on in the year. Welcome Lone Wolf and Leon. Well, what's up, man?
So the first the clutches that we're going to take a look at, they're all out of the egg. They haven't shed yet. This clutch is just starting to. This was the cinnamon, pastel cinnamon Enchi to pastel cinnamon Enchi yellow belly, 66 het ghost on both sides. Clutch. This is at least a pastel cinnamon Enchi, and this is another. Now this animal has shed out, so you can see there's a stark difference between pre-shed and just in their first shed. The color amplification here, the clarity, it just allows you to see different things. So as you're getting snakes, and the reason why most people are like, well, wait for them to shed out so we can really see what's going on, is this is like HD. And this is like you got blurry goggles on. So you get this like shiny, waxy skin, and then it goes away. And once they shed, and you get this really nice, clean, high def color, so that you can get the different array of colors. Also in this clutch, we hit this one. This is a cinnamon Enchi yellow belly, and the orange that is going to come through on these flames is just going to be out of control. This animal will be absolutely amazing. And then this one here is a pastel super cinnamon. There could be yellow belly in there, but yours really, yeah, you're gonna have to breed that to prove that out.
Gomez is asking, do you think Cinny and Enchi are allelic?
It looks like it. When we look at this clutch, so we had Enchi and cinnamon on both sides, and then this super cinnamon is at least a super pastel, super cinnamon, possible yellow belly, possible ghost. Same with this one. But if we,
How white that thing is.
I pull all these out here. Granted, you can't see very well, so it's hard to say that there's not Enchi in there. But I'm pretty sure it'll prove out that way. This is 2 clutches now that I've done that have either been cinnamon Enchi or super cinnamons or super Enchis. I've never had a super Enchi cinnamon or a super cinnamon Enchi, at least that I've seen. But there was one other one that came out of the egg, and I went to check on it when I got home from work, and it had expired. The super cinnamons are touchy, and this one was fully developed. You know, there was no egg yolk or anything left to it. It came out of the egg on its own, and I don't know, just didn't make it. So we will see what happens with this clutch, and then when this gets a little bit bigger after it sheds, I might try to blacklight it too to see if I can see a little bit more in there. Looks like there's some hints of pattern in some of that, and you can kind of see that right in there in those pinks and whites. So I don't know, blacklight might be able to help. We'll see. And that was that clutch. So that's clutch 10. Clutch 12, unfortunately, that was the resurrection to the Mackenzie fire, and when we cut that clutch, there was a ton of hard yolk, and the babies were maybe the size of a pencil around, and they were dead, with the exception of one that was still alive, and by the next day it had expired as well. So that whole clutch, unfortunately, that was 4 eggs. One egg didn't make it to the end, and the 3 that did were no good. So sometimes, you know, who knows? It happens.
Right.
So clutch 11 is Fubar. This clutch, however, is not. This clutch is a Butter Extreme to a GHI Leopard. Again, Het for Pied is what I'm calling him. He has not proven out Het for Pied yet. He is technically a 66, but we'll show you why I think that's going to change. So the first animal here, this is an Extreme gene. So Extreme does all this melting where it kind of like drips off but doesn't connect, and does all this elongation on the pattern. Now you can have stripes on the dorsal, but with Extreme, they're a little thicker. They look a little chunkier type of stripes. Again, in some of these genes, the differences that you're looking at are very, very finite to be able to see what those single gene animals look like. And then when you flip them over here, we got tracks for days. Lots of great striping on the tail. And when before he went into shed, just has a really nice pop of color. So between the Extreme and the Het Pied, definitely a great looking animal. And this, I believe, is a boy. And if you haven't seen, yeah, it's a boy. And if you haven't seen the super Extreme stuff, holy cow. You definitely got to look that up online. Ken Masick did some crazy stuff with that. Crazy stuff with that. So the next animal.
This is some craziness right here.
Yeah, this is a Leopard Extreme. Again, Leopard is really messing with some of these drip marks, obviously, but you get a lot of this elongation and pattern. A lot of great tail striping, too. We roll this over. Again, those are our tracks that we're looking at. So I believe this animal will prove Het for Pied as well. and just a really extra wacky, funky pattern. It's just mind blowing what causes certain reactions with animals. Like I wouldn't have expected like an extreme gene that stripes and melts pattern to like blow out the leopard like this. But this animal looks pretty good. This is a female. There's 3 females in the clutch. This one might be up for grabs. I haven't completely decided yet. All right, this boy is complete badassery. So if you've seen GHI butters or GHI lessers, they don't look like this.
No.
This animal has extreme gene in it. It's just insane. It's like a true chocolate bronze color with this like pasty white that going down its back. All the alien heads here, not all, but most of them are lifted way up, very round. And then we got a ringer here, more tail striping, goes all the way around. So again, we're talking about a male that's 66% het for pied, but has all the telltale markers and signs, and he's throwing, crazy stuff that, again has more of the markers and stuff. So I'm pretty sure he'll prove. I just need a few weeks to go by to get that ivory clutch out here so that I can get some pied stuff on the ground from him. But this is a male. That's a really nice animal. He will be available.
Sheila was like, I'm in love.
Yeah, that one's crazy. Now moving our way up, I guess. So this is a leopard lesser extreme. The big thing floating around with extreme and extremist, mostly extremist, is that they are proven to be het for tri-stripe. This animal almost has like that tri-stripe effect going all the way down completely the whole length of the body, no breaks anywhere. This is a female and also has really nice ringers that comes all the way around. So this girl is definitely one of the first definitive holdbacks. If she ends up proving double het for tri and pied, I will blow a gasket. But this girl looks really, really good. And I just love what all this stuff is doing. This is just crazy.
It's bonkers.
Yeah, totally bonkers. And 2 more in this clutch. So this is a GHI butter leopard, possible extreme, posset for pied. And
look at that.
just more absolute insanity. There is a male, and then the next one is a female. Female is the other holdback. This male will be available. Super powerful. I mean, just to throw those genes at stuff, man. Just craziness. I believe this one is the male, and it has a lot of this melting here, so that very well may end up proving extreme.
Yeah, it'd be crazy. Almost every single one of them have extreme gene in it.
Just about.
Pretty close.
Well, they're possible. Well, somewhat like, well, yeah, they all are. Or well, the one we just looked at is a possible,
yeah.
And this one is a possible. But I did confer with another individual that has a ton of this stuff. Not Ken himself, but somebody else that has a lot of this stuff. Probably spent about an hour and 15 minutes on the phone today, just kind of going over some of these guys and kind of throwing out my thoughts and whatever. So if you remember the Instagram posts, this is the GG snake, J-I, or maybe those are G's. Depends on how hard you shove your thumb in your eye. This is a female. This one will be hanging out here with us for a while, and we are definitely gonna look at that tail, that whole stripe.
Stripe all the way down.
And it's like clean. It's like a
yeah. You only get a little. You only get a little.
You get little
wonky,
little
that's
wiggles.
it,
You get
but
little wiggles, but no real like
no brakes.
deviations or
Yeah.
brakes. So, yeah, this clutch was really awesome. Lots of power in here. It was really fun to cut too. And then the most recent clutch, again, there's a lot of shedding out to be done here. The most recent clutch that we cut was a GHI red stripe to a pastel clown.
Oh yeah.
And when I cut the eggs, I thought I hit 2 pastel red stripes. Technically, I did. So this was the one of the first animals that I cut, and this is a pastel het clown. Just a really great looking pastel. I mean, there's the animal needs a gene from both mom and dad, and there's some good genes being put in here because this thing is just glowing like mad. I just can't imagine what she's going to look like when she sheds. Really high blushing on the head here, almost like super pastelish. Lots of great oranges in there. Nice clean belly. And some people will say that most het clowns have that little color on its tail. So some people will say that that's a marker for het clown. I haven't messed with it enough to prove that out, but I know color is amplified with clown in the background.
Yeah, Leon. We'll go over the couple that we have after we go through this clutch.
This is a male. This is a pastel GHI, 100% het for clown. Notice the back stripe on the head. That's going to be a key indicator, how it kind of pinches in and starts to come around the back of the head. That's a key indicator for, keeping track of this GHI stuff when you start getting into, different combos that look very, very similar, and you have to find very minute, distinct differences.
So pastel GHI red stripe, right?
No, that was a pastel GHI. So this is a pastel
red stripe.
100% het for clown. The color amplification is considerable when you look at them. I don't know if that's picking it up. A lot more oranges in here.
These
Definitely more blushing in here.
Even like the alien heads are like bigger and wider.
Yeah, they're blown out. So the red stripe has definitely got some influence. And when you look at the heads, the head on the red stripe is blushed a little bit more.
You get the fatter eye stripes on that one too. Like
Yeah.
really thin
So
on that
again, little details that you're going to look at. I mean, the blushing is pretty obviously something different. And it's not hard to see it here. But when we go to this animal, they look very, very similar. Very similar. So a lot of the same orange color. The alien heads look similar. Maybe a little more compact here, a little busier.
Yeah.
But when I pointed out the head stripe on the GHI, that pastel GHI, that's what we're looking at. So that head stripe wraps around on this animal and pinches.
Almost looks like a little face if you look at it.
Yeah, it's a classic sign for GHI. It's not always this distinct. Sometimes you get a little break depending on what's mixing in there. But this animal, this is the whole deal here. So this is a pastel red stripe GHI 100% het for clown. And I want to give a big shout out to Nick Papa. He messaged me and said, "Hey man, you need to look at those real quick. I watched your video, and it was the first one or the second one you cut. That's a GHI." And I did, because I looked at them quick. I had to go back and really scrutinize these, and there is clear differences between the two. So super happy.
Seems like you get a little bit more busyness on the top too.
Yeah. And again, I'll bring out the pastel So again, here's that head stamp for the pastel GHI, and then the head stamp with the pastel red stripe GHI. They're almost identical except for the colors. So it really helps. And when you look at the starting of the neck stripe behind the head, very similar as well. And then when we look at this one, it's just kind of a stripe.
there.
You don't get that little Y going on.
Yeah.
So again, it's nice in a clutch like this where you have a lot of steps and grades to kind of compare things to help determine what's what in a clutch. So that's that's fantastic when you can hit a variety like that and be able to go through. Had I hit all normals and then just the the pastel red stripe GHI, I probably wouldn't have been able to call that right off the bat. I would totally rely on somebody else. But after going back and forth with Nick a little bit and then really scrutinize the animals that were here, I was like, yeah, that's the money pot right there. So the big combo male, this is a boy, he'll be staying. The pastel red stripe, pastel GHI, and the pastel will all eventually be available once they shed and eat and do all their thing.
Do their thing.
Uh-huh.
Welcome, Lou Balls.
Do what you want to do. I can't have you. Well, these guys all shed, so we can go over these.
Which one's that?
The Resurrection NG albino. So, not lots to look at here. These guys, I believe, are normals. The pairing was an Enchi albino to the Resurrection gene. I'm going to grab what I believe is... And then this animal, I believe, is the Resurrection gene. So, just first look, some of this wackiness in the pattern. The alien heads are, blocked and irregular. The head stripe is a little different, not very much. It's a color tone as well. I don't know if you can see the color difference. Well, you're afraid to get bit?
Try to keep blood off screen.
Yeah. But belly is, is pretty busy. That's pretty normal for a normal, pretty classic. And pretty classic. And then this one has that little busyness going on. And then all the wackiness along the sides here. Lots of white tracing that comes up in conjunction with other stuff. So we look at this one. This one has a fair bit of white tracing coming up, but really doesn't have the belly thing going on or any of the busyness in the pattern. This one here is a good looking animal, but really doesn't have a lot of the white tracing that comes up.
You get a bit pretty busy belly-ish.
Yeah, but decent color. So I think that's the Resurrection.
No, Dave, we didn't look at that clutch, so you didn't miss that.
What's that?
Cinnamon sugar.
No, I can pull it out.
And then Leon wanted to look at the puzzle holdbacks.
Yeah. And these are all het for albino. So this is an Enchi het for albino. And this, I believe, is an Enchi Resurrection het for albino.
Look at the color on this one compared to that one. Like this one's...
So the cleanliness, again, it's a cleaner and it amps color. The color difference on this animal and the one next to it is just crazy, and it'll continue to get better. The eye stripes kind of come up and then fatten more. There's a little bit of a different shape there. It's slight, but these are some of the things we're looking to identify and stuff. And this Resurrection, I'm not overwhelmed with how it reacts with Enchi. There's not a lot there, but just trying to identify it and continuing the gene on to really amp things out. is going to be fun. So this is a boy, and I'll put him to an Enchi albino, and we'll get a super Enchi resurrection albino possibly. So, but looks pretty good. I like the how clean it is, and definitely the amps and oranges and yellows along the belly. Of course, they just moved everything. So this is one of the first ones from the Cinnamon Orange Dream Fire to Enchi Sugar clutch. This is an OD Fire. This is a female. She just made it up on Morph Market. She's got her meals in. She's ready to go. She looks good. Really bright. All that classic yellow belly, sorry. All that classic Orange Dream melting there. There's no pied in the mix that I'm aware of, so these should not be pied tracks. Cool little head stamp. Got a little extra bonus dot on her head.
Looking good.
Yeah, I like it. So this female I haven't made my mind up with. I might end up keeping her. I think this is going to prove out to be a Enchi Fire Sugar, and it's a girl. So she'll probably hang around for a while until I figure out what's what and whether I'm going to get rid of her or not, but she looks pretty good. And I'm not 100% on the Enchi. Mom is an Enchi Sugar, so I'll be able to do some comparison for sure, but she does have a lot of similarities that Mom has. So a couple more sheds, some more meals.
She does look like she kind of has like the white going like down at the base and the color at the top, like what the sugar does, like where you get.
Well,
the
yeah,
more
she is sugar. I'm not questioning the sugar at all.
It's the Enchi.
It's the Enchi. So I do get some of that kind of Enchi patterning coming through, but then the fire is going to mess with it a little bit, and you can clearly see that is fire. So we'll see. I'm not in a hurry to get her out of here, so she'll sit around for a minute.
I don't see pied in your collection. Really, kind of a shocker. we have some pieds. We're still working that.
I built all my pieds from Hetz, so a lot of my stuff is 100% Hetz. We do have a fair bit that we are starting to produce and build up. So this female, this is a Cinnamon Orange Dream, and initially when I cut this clutch, I had forgotten that I had put the Cinnamon OD Fire in there. So I had to go back to records because everybody kept saying, "Dude, there's cinnamon, there's cinnamon, there's cinnamon." I'm like, "No, there's not some orange fire." Well, and sure enough, I had put the Cine OD Fire in there a couple times, and he stole the clutch. So this girl looks good. She eats really, really well. Cool little head stamp. You get that little kind of like pinch there. She got some great color, good blushing, really nice belly, really cool little tail stripes. Yeah, she just looks really good. Cine OD. Sweet. And the next step up from that is a Cinnamon OD Fire. And now that more pink and colors have come in, she looks almost exactly like her father.
Right.
So everything we've seen so far will be available from this Cinnamon clutch. And then I'm going to show you the two I'm going to hold on to. Now these guys have been shed out for a while. I was right the first time.
One that still hasn't.
Nope. This girl
Absolutely
still
refuses.
has not shed. And that's a Cinnamon Enchi Orange Dream. It's just amazing. I cannot wait till she sheds to see what she's going to look like. She did eat once, so she's eating. I just, I don't know. But you can clearly see the difference, like we were talking about before, between a pre-shed and a post-shed animal, about the height, the definition, and the color, the saturation, and different things like that. So this girl ought to look really, really good once she's done.
Her shed function's broken.
Yeah, she don't want to shed. She's comfortable in her own skin. And then the last one from that clutch that we're potentially going to hold on to is this girl here. This is at least an Enchi OD Fire. Since she's come out, there's like little white highlights that are starting to lighten up along the belly. I don't know if there's sugar in here. I don't see it in a pattern. I don't know. OD is pretty strong. Enchi is pretty strong. So I'm probably going to give this girl a few sheds, get some size on her, see what she's going to do. And if I don't see the sugar, I'll end up putting her up for sale. I'll make her available. But really nice melting. You get this, all that melting like you see along the bottom. That's all the Orange Dream doing that.
Yeah, no, there was no pastel in the mix.
Nope, none at all. That's the Fire that's giving you the head stamp. So OD, Fire. Enchi. Maybe sugar. Doubtful, but
Only time will tell.
We'll see in a couple 100 grams. But she is getting lighter and lighter, and she just looks fantastic. This one was. This is a good looking girl. That is a Fire Mackenzie. Probable Extreme. So this was an OD Extreme to Mackenzie Fire. Yeah, and the more I look at this, the more extreme I see in it. Just all the melting and the drips coming down here, blotching out everything, compared to up here where it's more regular. And then we go back to that striping, very thick dorsal stripes. So I'm pretty sure this girl will prove out extreme as well. So Mackenzie Fire Extreme. Oh, good pair. Just looks really good. Yeah, you can see how thick those dorsal stripes are.
Yeah.
So.
Back over there.
Did you have any? Do you want to show off some pies so people can see the pies we have?
Well, I know Leon was asking the puzzles a while back ago, so I'll show those off, and then we could show off some pied stuff.
Yep. Mackenzie is a pattern modifier, so it's gonna totally blow out the pattern. Thanks, Sheila. Appreciate that. I can show you a Mac Fire. I do have a couple Mackenzies. I mean, we can look at those.
She is currently, in shed. This is the female puzzle that we held back from last year.
Woo, fucker. I'm watching your stupid phone, and your fucking snake bit me.
Hey. She's a little feisty. Hey.
Sorry for the foul language there.
Hey,
that was really unexpected.
Hey, all
Yeah,
right.
she's a little pisshead.
Yeah, she's a little feisty. Hey. Get back in there.
And both of our both of our phones are blowing up here. My son,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna live. It's a snake bite, dude. It's not a retic. My son had his second child about 20 minutes ago, so they're sending everybody's getting all kind of notifications and apparently pictures that I haven't seen yet. So we'll take a look at those in a little bit. Needs tamp. No, I'm good. Thanks, Melina. Appreciate it.
There you go, brother. For you.
Thanks, Marshall. So yeah, so we'll be able to take a look at that. Oh, here we go. Now you guys can look at it too. So the legacy goes on. Yeah, Grandpa number 2. And the LaValle name continues. Yes, sir. It's a boy. Woohoo! Now I got a snake cleaner.
All right, this one is not as feisty as the female.
Watch me get bit again.
This is the
What's going on, Shannon?
this is the puzzle boy. He's actually been putting in a little bit of work,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we're getting locks.
He's going to a Super Mojave possible pinstripe.
Yeah.
Right.
And pinstripe, POS super pin. And I also just got a lock the other day for the first time to a pastel red stripe yellow belly. So we're going to work some of the red stripe in there. Thanks, Sheila.
But yeah, he's not in shed, so he's got a little bit more color.
Oh, nice Titan. That's a great animal. I mean, if you look at the pattern, it's just crazy. And if you've seen it with Lesser, if you've seen it with Mojave, it's doing some ridiculous stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun over the next year or so. Miguel at Always Evolving Pythons is doing a ton of work with puzzle and double het stuff. If you don't follow him, definitely go do that. Also with shout outs, if you guys are at all familiar with JT Tomlinson, he is the owner of ReptiChip. He had a house fire this week in his kitchen and lost 200 of about 400 animals. The pictures I saw today of the devastation in the house is just absolutely ridiculous. They are doing a charity auction for him. It is on Facebook. If you just look up JT Tomlinson or Austin Huggins or Mike Breezy, there's a bunch of them that are running it right now that are, trying to raise money to help him get back on his feet. He's got to fix his house and then trying to restore, some of his collection.
Yeah. So if you can, definitely donate.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's trying to do what they can do to help him out. But there is an auction page there that you can check out for details.
And this, it's not a visual puzzle, but this is a pastel 66% het puzzle.
Thanks, Shannon.
We do think that she's going to prove out because her colors are phenomenal for a pastel.
And honestly, she looks a lot like Dad, but
definitely,
even
yeah.
a little better. So
Yeah.
she'll definitely prove out. They're with genes in the mix. They're really not hard to identify the hets. More genes in the mix, though. If you start talking about quads and stuff, then that may change things, and we just don't have the experience for that yet. But
Hey, Dad. Hey, you got a little bit of.
yeah, it's like he's gonna go into shed soon.
He's got a little bit stuck on his head.
Yeah, but you can see he looks good for a pastel, but like she's just like
way
crazy.
better.
Yeah, crazy.
So,
And he's a bit older too, obviously, so that's gonna play a factor.
but patterns look very similar.
Yep.
So we think she'll prove. Time will tell.
No, she'll prove. There's no doubt about that.
Right. Make sure Jim's finger doesn't get tagged. Because those puzzles are a little feisty.
I'm not worried about it.
Um,
I just wasn't looking. I was looking at the camera to look at the picture of my grandson, and it caught me by surprise. I was like, "Oh, what the fuck?"
all right. Well, this isn't a holdback, but this is a purchase that we made last year. This we got from Ozzy, the man himself, for Orange Dream. So this is an OD banana het puzzle. And he is finally doing work for us. I got a lock with him and my het puzzle girl last week. So he's starting to figure it out.
Yeah, I was starting to get nervous there for a while. Yeah, there's a couple more that need to get it figured out too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should produce some crazy stuff for sure. And he's got a lock with just a hat puzzle.
Yeah.
But he's been seeing this girl here, which is a pastel lesser het puzzle. You think so, Dave? You think he'll prove Yellow Belly? With Ozzy, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, extra genes.
He's got all kinds of crap floating around in his stuff that, he just doesn't tell you about.
And for a puzzle, she's been actually kind of picky when it comes to eating. Like she was really good in the beginning, and then
I think she kind of hit her wall late.
Yeah.
I think she hit her wall at like 1,300 grams instead of 1,000, and that just made all the difference. But it'll be good to get the OD banana in that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, she is getting a little girthy, so hopefully she's building those follicles a little bit, and we'll start to, see some decent stuff come of that. All right, now some pied stuff.
We got some pied stuff.
Yeah, I guess we can start with that. She just shed. The top one I don't think is shed. But again, we've built most of our recessives or have been built initially from hets. So I don't have a ton of old pieds hanging around. This girl is a pastel inchy leopard yellow belly pied. She came from an ivory, so the yellow belly is 100% guaranteed, and that head stamp is pretty classic for a platform that we work with. So that is, pastel inchy leopard and yellow belly. We've produced that quad 5 times, something like that, and I just love what it does, and that little butterfly mark or whatever you want to call it is pretty classic for that combo.
Dot,
Yeah.
dot.
Yep.
Yeah, she looks good.
Yep. She just shed, so we'll get some meals into her, and hopefully the end of this coming year she'll be ready to go.
Yeah, she's a little slow. Mini sister.
Mini sister. Mini already. Oh no, no neglection there. I'm just drinking off camera, and Matt's actually doing pretty good. He's usually one of the last ones. She's like deep in it.
Oh yeah, she's.
Yeah. So yeah, no neglection. Not this time. Of course, I'm not usually the one neglecting them. It's Matt.
No. This one's in a little bit in shed, but I don't mind showing her. We got ourselves a black pastel pied, 100% het albino.
So she is pinked. She's definitely deep in it.
Mm-hmm.
She may even be coming out the other side, to be honest. And she's probably going to shed pretty soon. But that's about the only mark on her whole body, other than what's up by her head.
Yeah, she's got a little speck there, and
oh, I missed that one. There we go. Yep.
there it is. But yeah, nothing else on the whole body.
So yeah, super high white, pretty common with black pastel. So mixing in something like Enchi that brings in a lot of pattern into pieds would be good. Yellow belly is pretty inconsistent as far as how much pattern it brings in, but can't go wrong with it. Yeah, it's coming. Yeah, Het Panda is right. It's coming. We have the mail to go to her to make that happen. Yeah, this one's eyeing me up too.
Yeah, this one's also in shed.
What's going on, Bronx?
Our black pastel pinstripe pie.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like the edges, I don't know. I go back and forth all the time. It's definitely a pin pied, but every pin pied I've seen continues to have some kind of markings down the back. There's very few, kind of like that, tend to continue down, and this one just doesn't have it. You want to put it back in the frame? There we go. So I keep going back and forth of whether it's black pastel or not, but looks really, really good.
We have had some people say it does look like it has it. but we won't really know
until we breed her.
Yeah.
And it's a girl, so she will be staying here. So there's, thank you very much, Titan. There's definitely pied running around here a fair bit. We've produced a few. I just have really crappy luck with recessives, and it's mostly because, you know, I'm relying on the person I'm buying from to provide 100% het, and breeding stuff that I should be getting visual animals out of, and I'm not. So, you know, I spend 2 or 3 years trying to prove out an animal, and, you know, I get nowhere. So, French toast for dinner, nice. I like it. Yeah, this is another project we're working on, the albino pied stuff. Excuse me, we've produced a couple of these, and they were both made. Well, the first one was made from het to het, or double het to double het.
Yep.
And this one was visual double to double het. And this is a girl. So what better in the collection than a double recessive visual female?
Right.
And you see that pattern in there. That looks real good. Yeah, Sheila. You know, we're building, you know, all our incompletes into it as well. So we have stuff like this, you know, hidden gene Woma granite yellow belly that is double het for albino and pied. So with a little bit more size, this guy will be ready to go, and he'll either be going back to doubles or going back to visuals. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with head to head at all. But what I'm saying is, you know, the question comes up, well, I haven't seen a lot of pied in your collection. Well, I don't have the big adults to show off. I only have, you know, the younger animals that we are producing that really aren't breeding yet. We've just started breeding one of our first pieds that were produced by us. So and then again, you know, we're cutting eggs, we're doing the grow outs, and, you know, showing you guys what's new and what keeps coming in here. I haven't lately gone back too much to show you guys what's going on, but this girl is a train wreck right now. Yeah, this is her prelay shed.
So this is a pied 66% het albino. She saw a mahogany albino.
Yeah, so that'll be some cool stuff.
So she's
Dave, I don't have an ivory pied. I have a pastel leopard ivory pied, but she is also deep in shed. And I mean, you can pull her out. They can. I mean, I don't care if they see him if she's in shed, but she just.
you're just not going to see much.
There's not going to be much to see at all because she doesn't really have a whole lot. She's almost an all white snake as it is. But we'll pull her out all the way at the top. And she most recently has been housing food.
Yeah, she's been
So,
on a lot of size.
This girl is, there's a faint butterfly pattern here, super, super faint. But this is a pastel leopard ivory pied. That is a saddle right there, whether you can see it or not. It's right there. Super faint when she's in shed. And she has one
somewhere.
one more.
I think it's
Yeah, I think that's it there. It's slightly yellow. So the ivory pied stuff is almost a white snake. And then, of course, I end up with pastel here and leopard. And, you know, yeah, the black light helps a little bit for sure. But, yeah, this girl is going to be a powerhouse breeder, which is why she was held on to. That is Minnie's sister.
And she's finally...
And she hit a wall for a long time, and she has now been housing food and starting to stack on some weight, which I'm excited about. I'm going to pull Minnie out, too. She was looking pretty good today. Thanks, Lou Balls. Appreciate that. Yeah, Shannon, that Hidden Gene Woma Granite Yellow Belly combination is fantastic. And we started with a female that was Hidden Gene Woma Granite and Yellow Belly, and then put the pied to her. this camera does her absolutely zero justice. It
She's-
washes out the yellow, and it almost completely washes out the purple colors.
Yeah, she's glowing right now.
Yeah, but this girl is a pastel Enchi leopard ivory, and she is technically 66% het for pied, based on the pairing, but based on her markers, I'm pretty confident she's going to prove out. And she just looks so good. And that's where the mini ball came from, is that little head stamp right there. It looked like Minnie Mouse
Yeah, come here.
or Mickey Mouse. And seeing that she is a girl, that right down at the end, seeing she was a girl, that became the mini ball. And after that one, so that was the only one. Yeah, where'd it go?
There it is.
That was the first time. That's a world's first. That was the first one that was ever made. I know there's a ton of people that have been running at this pairing or combination of pairings to do this breeding again. And this year, I was ever so lucky
Bam.
to hit number 2. So this girl's a little bit different. Thanks, Bronx. I appreciate it. So if I can get over here, that head stamp is the same. You can see the Minnie Mouse on the head stamp. I think the biggest difference that I see between this animal and the first one is I don't think this girl is going to prove out het for pied. However, I could be proven wrong. We will see with time. But this girl is just crazy. I love this combo. It's just, yeah, Mini 2.0. Yeah, Titan. I love this thing too. I mean, if Matt will show you the tail tip, it's just, yeah. I mean, look at the purple is just ridiculous on there. Yeah, Lou balls. I'm telling you, I was totally flabbergasted when I made the first one. Can we see the bottom of the tail? I just kind of look for, yeah, see, there's really no tracks there at all. So yeah, I think I'm gonna miss on the het pied piece.
And her stripe is solid all the way up her back.
Yep. It's so crazy, right? I mean, look at that. There's been some people that have gotten close to this. I've seen it almost done with like highway. So there was a Enchi leopard highway that I think Shane had made, and it looked close. The head stamp was really close. Yeah, it literally looks like that too in real life. So the camera is not blowing her out of proportion at all. It's actually capturing this pretty good, which I'm kind of surprised. Man, that's just crazy. And there's that tail tip again.
Boom.
Yeah. Thanks, Leon, for saying that. I appreciate that, man. I really do.
Let's see. Pied.
Did you have more double hit stuff? Yeah.
This is just well, we ended up keeping this girl. She's pied head albino, but we kept her because the amount of pattern on this girl. As you can see, there's very, very little white.
It's almost a no white pied, to be honest.
Yeah, it's pretty much just same on both sides.
Yeah, she just looks good. A lot of color, good color, nice oranges, and then like the whole pattern. So what's been said, and I believe even Jessica Bilka has said this, with pieds, there is a polygenic type. It's just a pied, the only thing I believe that was in this mix was it was a visual albino pied to a double het for albino pied. So there was no chance of anything else in there.
Yep.
And you could see that we produced the male, so I know there was nothing else in him, and mom was purchased, but she's clearly a normal. There's really no Enchi or anything like that. But pied's patterning is obviously affected by genes, but it is, thanks Rudes, but it is also polygenic, meaning if I continue to breed pieds that have all this pattern, I will have a greater chance over time to produce pieds. You don't bite me. With greater pattern. So that influence, hopefully, and I think Eric Markstaller from Exotic Design Reptiles has been doing this for a while because his black pastel pieds tend to have 3 and 4 saddles on them, like the head and then 2 to 3 saddles,
Yep.
which is super, super rare. And you get that from a polygenic breeding program of holding back high pattern animals and constantly breeding back high pattern to get the high pattern. So when you put it to a spider or you put it to a black pastel, you get a little bit of abnormalcy, which ends up being more pattern, which is kind of what you've been breeding for. And it's just going to show up when you start stacking genes as well.
Yeah, so imagine this is like a panda pied, mostly black and then a little bit of white.
I mean, possible. I mean, that'd be a crazy long project.
Oh, for sure.
But we have a black pastel het pied male. We're going to be shooting for that kind of the panda stuff. That'd be a great animal to have in the breeding program, so that everything is going to get pied, at least one copy, and everything is going to get black pastel.
So this girl, she's a black pastel pinstripe het pied. She produced some of the
the pin pied or the black pastel pin pied.
Yep.
And some of that clutch.
This year, she has seen a GHI Leopard 66 het pied, but we believe he's going to prove.
Yeah, it's the same one that produced the butter leopard clutch that we saw earlier. He's the one that's going to be going to the ivory het pied as well. So definitely going to be a lot more pieds coming out of the house here. Now I'm starting to work with, or we're starting to work with a lot of our own stuff that I know is 100% het, and I'm not going to be wasting 2 or 3 years trying to breed for something that I paid for and it not proving out.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a girl that's starting to really, again, she was slow to get going, but she's done very well. She's getting girthy.
Pound on the food.
Yeah, same way, Bronx. We really like the lower white stuff here. I mean, I'm happy up to about 50%.
Yep.
The higher the white, the less happy I am. I like to see some of the color and some of the patterns kind of coming through that, you can look at an animal for a long time and be like, dang, that's crazy. As opposed to, oh yeah, look, it's a white snake.
Well, we talked about her, just to show that there's nothing else in her.
Yeah, so this is the mother that started it all.
The double het albino pied, and she is
So definitely not inchy from that head stripe.
and she's building again. She was bred again to the albino pied male, so going for some more albino pied stuff. And she's starting to get a little triangular a little bit, so she's starting to get girthy.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you can see that belly is all chunky. Anything else you got in that pied project or albino pied project?
Let's see.
I don't think so. I think that's about it.
Yep, showed that.
You gotta end with something. We can't end like this.
Oh, we got the black pastel het pied.
No, we gotta end with something better than that.
Let's see. Oh, we got some stuff that's pos het pieds.
Nah, we're gonna change the game a little bit. I want to end it with some fire.
Oh, well, I can end with some fire. Literally.
What was that?
The firefly.
I want to blow the color chromatic scale up.
Oh wait, we can definitely do that. We can show them both at the same time.
No, that's okay. So this girl is just stacking it on right here. This is the pastel fader clown. This was, yeah, exactly, Melina. This was a female that was sent to me from Nerd for breeding an animal that I got for them for 3 years in a row and not producing any visual clowns. So, you know, initially I wasn't really excited to get her, but what Fader has done to Pastel Clown,
It's crazy.
holy crap. There's no pastel clown on the planet that looks like this or even close to it. And she just screams. I want to throw OD at this. I want to, Mackenzie Fire at this. I just want to do some craziness. What's up, Peelies? So, I mean, this girl is just nutso. She's got a little bit of stuck shed left right there. There we go. So yeah, again, initially not over ecstatic about this girl, but like super happy to where she's at now. Yeah, definitely OD Fire, and maybe it's the Cine OD Fire I throw at her. I've seen some of the cinnamon stuff that Justin's doing. Yeah, I don't have an OD clown, unfortunately. So
I know, right?
my clown game is limited to hets. I have Red Stripe. I have Fire Zawadi, and then I have the Red Stripe GHI Pastel. So, there's some couple options for males, but definitely no OD in there yet. And the visual clown males that I have, near retiring one of them, and the other one is like a project male that really is kind of just meant for one girl. So we'll see what happens. But it'll probably be one of the hats that goes there.
A Firefly Fader Zawadi clown.
Yeah, that could be.
That would be some craziness right there.
Yeah, that may be what has to happen. Because I think initially I had the Mac Fire going to her, but I almost like the Fire Zawadi a little bit better. I might have to change that. What's up, Ball of Pythonstein? We're just kind of winding down here, and pulled this girl out for kind of a last hurrah, so to speak, before we signed off. I got some pictures to look at my new grandson, so I'm going to probably head and go do that before they think I'm totally ignoring them. But yeah, so this is a Pastel Fader Clown. Thank you very much. And that'll kind of end it for this evening. Thursday next week, we will be cutting 2 clutches.
Yeah.
It will be a reduced pattern jigsaw to OD Fire. And thanks very much, Heelys. And the other clutch is the albino het tri-stripe to yellow belly het tri-stripe. So see if we can, prove out some tri-stripe stuff. If I miss on this clutch, I'm going to be really upset that this male hasn't proved for me. But anyway, that's it for us. Everybody have a great night. Thanks for taking a little bit of time and spending it with us tonight. And we hope to see you guys next week as we cut some eggs and then maybe go over some of these guys again to see what they look like after they shed out. So have a great night. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Yeah, well, take care.
Yeah, let me know what you think with that replay. Have a good night.